Welcome to Sex Ed with DB. I'm your host, DB. Let's get into it.
Hey there, pleasure seekers. It's Amy and April from the Shameless Sex Podcast, and we're super excited to invite you to our upcoming retreat. If you're feeling a bit stuck in your pleasure journey, our Desert Retreat for All is the perfect excuse to prioritize you and maybe spice up your partnership too. Join us from May 8th to 11th in our luxurious desert villa near Palm Springs, California for a rejuvenating 4-day all-inclusive escape. And it's sponsored by Magic Wand, y'all.
We'll blend immersive pleasure workshops, poolside relaxation, and tons of fun activities in a safe, welcoming space. And just to be clear, this isn't a sex party or dating retreat, although we appreciate your adventurous vibe. It's all about discovering your unique pleasure blueprint without judgment. Whether you come solo, with a partner, or your besties, everyone is welcome in our pleasure paradise. Don't miss out on this life-changing experience. Head to shamelesssex.com and let your journey to shameless pleasure begin.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Sex Ed with DB. Today we are diving into a critical update on the state of abortion in the U.S. If you've been keeping up, you'll remember that in our post-election episode, we discussed what a second Trump administration might do to further restrict abortion and reproductive health care. And now, 2 months in, we're checking in on where things stand. So far, Trump and his officials haven't made any sweeping moves to restrict abortion or contraception, maybe because they know just how unpopular that would be, but don't let the quiet fool you. They've been laying the groundwork, making moves, and sending signals about what's to come. Let's break it down. First, let's talk about medication abortion. One of the biggest indicators of where things are headed is what Trump's appointees have been saying about medication abortion. If you've been listening, you know that medication abortion now accounts for 2/3 of abortions in the US, and 1/5 of all abortions happen via telehealth. That is huge. And unsurprisingly, it's been under attack. Last year, the Supreme Court heard a lawsuit challenging medication abortion access, but they didn't issue a substantive ruling. That means the case is still active, and under Trump's FDA, we could see moves to block access to mifepristone entirely, or at least to restrict telehealth prescriptions. Despite decades of clear evidence proving that mifepristone and telehealth abortion are incredibly safe, Trump's new HHS Secretary, RFK Jr., and his FDA pick, Marty Makary, have already signaled they want to, quote, review the safety record of mifepristone. Spoiler alert, there is nothing to review. It is already proven safe. There are already so many studies and decades of research to show that it is safe. This is just a clear setup to roll back access. Now, a quick action item for you. Makary's nomination isn't confirmed yet. The Senate committee approved him for a full vote just last week, so if you care about reproductive rights, now's the time to call your senators and tell them to reject his nomination. Moving on to emergency abortion care. Another big shift is the Trump administration has backed away from defending EMTALA, the federal law that requires hospitals receiving federal funds to provide emergency care regardless of a patient's ability to pay. The Biden administration had clarified that abortion is an emergency service when necessary to save a pregnant person's life, but Trump's team is reversing that stance. In court, they've stated they no longer believe this law requires hospitals to provide life-saving abortion care. Let that sink in for a second. This is just another way they're paving the road for even more restrictions on abortion access. And in this case, a very, very, very important one. All of them are important, but especially emergency care to save someone's life. Now let's talk about pardoning anti-abortion extremists. If you need more proof of where this administration stands, let's talk about who Trump decided to pardon. Less than a week after taking office, he pardoned 23 people convicted of violating the FACE Act, a federal law protecting reproductive health clinics from being physically blocked by protesters. The people he pardoned weren't just peaceful picketers. These were anti-abortion extremists convicted of breaking into clinics, stealing fetal tissue, and physically preventing patients from entering clinics. That is who he chose to give a free pass to. Let's move on to anti-trans attacks and fetal personhood. Let's not forget that Trump came out swinging on day one with executive orders attacking trans people. If you care about reproductive justice, you must care about trans rights because trans rights are reproductive rights. But there's another reason to pay attention here. Buried in Trump's anti trans executive orders was language defining sex as beginning at conception. This is straight out of the fetal personhood playbook, the effort to grant embryos and fetuses full legal rights from the moment of conception. If this movement gains traction under Trump, we could see more policies that prioritize a pregnancy over the person carrying it. That's some real Handmaid's Tale shit. Super terrifying. Criminalizing abortion providers. So, meanwhile, the anti abortion movement is shifting its focus to criminalizing providers. Abortion doctors in New York and Texas have recently been targeted by state officials in Louisiana and Texas, facing criminal charges for providing care, either within their own states or to patients traveling from abortion ban states. This is the post Roe reality. It's not just about banning abortion in red states, it's about going after providers in blue states too. Now, I don't want to leave you without some good news, so let's end on a win here, which is Arizona's abortion victory. Remember how last year's elections resulted in huge wins for abortion rights? 7 states passed ballot measures protecting abortion in their state constitutions. One of those states was Arizona, which previously had a 15-week abortion ban. Well, here's the update. Advocates recently won their lawsuit challenging Arizona's ban, and a federal court ruled it unconstitutional under the new amendment. This means that abortion is now fully legal in Arizona until fetal viability. This is a huge victory for abortion access and proof that these state-level protections matter. So, dear listener, my sweet listener, where do we go from here? First, we have to stay informed. The attacks on abortion access aren't always flashy, but they are happening. Second, take action. Call your senators about McCarry's nomination, support abortion funds, talk about these issues with your friends and family, and finally, do not lose hope. The fight for reproductive rights isn't over, and we've seen time and time again that when people show up and organize, we win. Thanks for tuning into this bonus episode of Sex Ed with DB. Keep fighting the good fight. Catch you next time. Love you. Our creator, host, and executive producer is me, Danielle Bezalel, aka DB. Our producer is Sadie Levy. Our communications lead is Catherine Cohen. Our music theme is by Hook Sounds. Thanks so much to our featured guests, partners, and listeners. If you have a rom-com you remember from growing up and want us to cover it on Rom-Com Bomb, submit it to us by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and leaving a comment on Spotify. Want to partner with us? Email us at sexedwithdb@gmail.com. For more sex ed content, follow us on Instagram at sexedwithdbpodcast. See you next time. Our creator, host, and executive producer is me, Danielle Bezalel, aka DB. Our producer is Sadie Levy. Our communications lead is Catherine Cohen. Our marketing coordinator is Alex Bateman. Our music theme is by Hook Sounds. Thanks so much to our featured guests, partners, and listeners. If you have a rom-com you remember from growing up and want us to cover it on Rom-Com Bomb, submit it to us by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and leaving a comment on Spotify. Want to partner with us? Email us at sexedwithdb@gmail.com. For more sex ed content, follow us on Instagram @sexedwithdbpodcast. See you next time.